Ladies and gentlemen, today's conversation, it's going to be a conversation today. We're not going to allow people to come on and talk nonsense about Daisy or the way I live and where do I live, how's the hotel coming, none of that. We're going to talk about actual reality here on the island of Bohols. But before we talk about what's happening on the island of Bohols, I want to make you understand. I'm also going to talk about another topic, and that topic might not seem Good morning, Joe Blow. It might not seem so important to some people, but I'm going to tell you that the second part of the title, Asia is the spice capital of the world. What I'm going to tell you is it has now become the Makahilo capital of the world. And the word Makahilo in Visaya means poison. I am telling you that the Asians are influencing the cultural cooking technique of the Philippines. That's what I am aware of. Good morning, Scott. I have become aware that the Asians are cooking, they're adding spices, they're selling spices. They have stores that are just for spices. The spice rack in the supermarket might be one of the most complex places in the supermarket. And they're pushing this kind of stuff, this chicken powder. And then they have beef, and then they have pork powder. Then they even have fish powder. But if you read the ingredients to these on this can, it's basically it has 6 or 7 ingredients that are pure, unadulterated poison. Taken by themselves, it would kill you. Especially that they have monosodium glutamate. Monosodium glutamate is the key ingredient to every spice in the Philippines. However, they allow in the Philippines and in Asia, apparently, they allow you to use a different name. And I actually forgot what the other name is. Maybe somebody could help me out. But they actually allow you to put down, like I'll read the ingredients to here. Maybe you can understand. Maltodextrin, chicken meat, identical chicken meat and identical flavors, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, modified food starch. That's where I think it is. Because every time I eat this garbage, and it is garbage, my feet swell up, my ankles will swell up 2 inches. Here is a container of ketchup. This is how ketchup comes. Okay? This is Del Monte ketchup. When I first got to the Philippines, I could smother my food with this stuff. But now they have at the bottom of the ingredients selective spices. Well, they redefine what monosodium glutamate is, and they put it in the ketchup. Because one small, I'm talking about 2 tablespoons of this ketchup, and my feet will be swelled up so large that they wouldn't fit into my sneakers. If I add 1 tablespoon of this to a quart of rice for flavor, you can taste it. And if I have just a half a cup of rice, my feet would swell up so big they won't fit into my sneakers. So something changed since when I first got to the Philippines and I bought this spice. And then when I bought this spice 2 years ago, something changed because this container is new and 2 years old. And the one I had from 5 years ago lasted until 2 years ago, and it didn't have the same, it had the same effect, but nowhere near where it has today. So my point is that they are bringing the children up where everything in the Philippines is no longer, they have the most fresh fruit and vegetables. Rudy Gallus pointed out in the comment section, they have the most, good morning, Jack. They have the most wonderful foods here. They have fresh pork, fresh liver, fresh cow, fresh chopped meat, fresh this. And now everywhere you go in every restaurant, they add adobo mix, this stuff, that, the beef stock. And I can't. It's to the point right now because of I'm sensitive to chemical sensitive. I can no longer eat in a restaurant. I did even when I went to Alona Beach and I had the hamburger at the hamburger place. The meat was cool. It was okay, but I went back to another place that I bought hamburgers from and had the same item off the menu, and my feet swelled up to where the wound on my foot started cracking. So I am sensitive to this stuff, and you can immediately feel it in my ankles. My ankles will go from 11 and a half inches to 13 and plus inches in a matter of 10 minutes. So in other words, good morning, Sasha. If I if I was to take a couple of tablespoons of this ketchup right now and you watch me, I wouldn't ingest anything else. My ankles would swell up from this to this in about 20 minutes. So that's what I wanted to point out about the food in the Philippines is no longer traditional Filipino food where they just cook the fresh meat and they add a natural spice like salt and pepper or whatever their natural spices are called. It is becoming over and abundant where everything in the Philippines is putting some sort of spice in the fried rice, in the mix for the fish batter, for the crispy fish batter. For anywhere you go, everything has spice in it now. There's no more longer traditional cooking in restaurants. Everything has a spice. It tastes delicious, but it's poison. So Rudy Gallus wanted me to point that out, and he made a good point. And he also wanted me to point out that the people in the Philippines, they don't have traditional kitchens. Okay, what we have a blender in our kitchen. I've never been in a house in the Philippines that has a blender in it. We have a toaster oven. I have never seen a toaster oven in any Filipino kitchen, even the hotel down the block. Sometimes I'll have breakfast there with some friends of mine. They don't have a toaster. They don't have a toaster. They toast the toast on the grill. They don't have food processing. You know, like you want to get a juice. Well, they don't have like a Filipino standard Filipino. They won't have a juicer in their kitchen where almost every home in America has a juicer. They don't have the kind of appliances that we have in America. So it's basically very simple. For instance, let's say you could find a turkey in the Philippines, but you wouldn't be able to cook it because no one has a stove with an oven in it. They don't have that here. So they basically everything is cooked in a crock pot, like the neighbor where we had the birthday party at. Everything was cooked in a giant cast iron kettle or an aluminum pot, and the goat was cooked for 6 or 7 hours. They don't have an oven to roast the pork in or roast fish in. If they make fish, they just take the fish and just put it right on top. They put the grill right up next to the coals and they just crisp the fish with the skin on it. Nobody cleans the skin off of fish here. So it's different living here. But when you go to somebody's house, like where we had the fresh goat, even then they put some of the poison in there. I said, Nana, did you put any adobo? Oh yes, we put adobo with the pork, salt and pepper. We used to cook with salt and pepper. What's going on here? They're brainwashing these people with commercials is what's going on here. The spice rack in the supermarket is immense, and everything is spices and cooked with this and adobo. It doesn't matter. It's just macahilo. It's poison, and it's killing me to the point where I can rarely go out to a restaurant anymore unless I order something that doesn't. It's just plain like broiled fish. Broiled fish. I like broiled fish, but fried fish, they put the stuff in the batter. Even the fried chicken I went over with yesterday, they put the adobo mix in the batter. My feet were swelled up this big after I ate 2 pieces of chicken yesterday. That's new. That's new from last week or 2 weeks ago. That's a new thing. They're putting flavor in the batter. Sickening. So now the other thing, the cultural change I wanted to talk about. First, I'm going to read the comments and say good morning to the people that are here now. Okay, so how's Mr. Fazio? Scott, I'm doing well. As I have a friend of mine, the builder from New York, the one who's building the condominiums. He came in for about a week or so, and we just had breakfast. I made him some fresh garlic and fresh onions, and he bought 2 kilos of some fish. I didn't open up the bag because I was running late for the live stream because I had guests. But so we're gonna have Daisy. Daisy and I have learned how to make a fried crispy batter with. You take the fish; they could be a little damp. We skin them. No, I don't take the skin off either. It's too much trouble. I don't have a fish cleaning station. But this fish was descaled at the market, and we're gonna make for breakfast for dinner with Eric Larson. We're gonna have you dip the fillets in flour, which is standard, and then you make an egg batter with flour again and salt and pepper, and you mix in beer. It makes this delicious batter. So we're gonna have fried fish for dinner. Daisy went to get the calamansi, the lemons, and she went to get some fresh broccoli about a half hour ago. So she should be returning within the next 20 minutes. So things are good. And Eric is here for a few days to supervise the construction of his hotel down the block. Well, down, and that's what's happening. So thank you for asking, Scott. Good morning. I almost called you this morning, but then Eric banged on my door at 6 o'clock as I was walking out, and we've been chatting since then. So that's nice, Sasha. I love eating in the Philippines. I do too. I do too. They have, when you go to a traditional Filipino house's pig roast, and they don't put the adobo, they don't use adobo, let's say, and you have the fresh goat, okay? It doesn't require anything. It's fresh meat. Now, I personally, of all the meats here, it sounds crazy, but I like liver. I always like liver, and I eat a lot of liver. I eat it with fried red onions, fried white onions, onions and garlic. In fact, I came this close to buying a food grinder, but it was in the store, but it was really big. It was just like a commercial food grinder for a restaurant where I'm going to start making my own liverwurst with my friend Carl. He knows how much I like liverwurst, and he got this thing going a couple of weeks ago that do I miss liverwurst, because I was like the liverwurst king in New York. I would go through a block of liverwurst, the 2 pound, 1 kilo block of liverwurst in 10 days, no problem. And that was just having an occasional sandwich. If I really dug into it, I could eat a half a pound of liverwurst when I was young, one sitting with just mustard. So I like living here in the Philippines, and I like eating here, but I like eating in a traditional Philippines house. And believe me, I eat in a lot of those, more than most foreigners get the chance to eat in. The neighbors are always, please come in, or at least they bring dishes out when I'm walking down the block to have some try. Now they have their reasons, because Christmas is coming, and they would really like me to have Christmas at their house. And I could only have Christmas at one house, so I've already picked out the house that I'm going to have Christmas in, and there's going to be 30 or 40 people there. Not because of the 30 or 40 people, but because Nana cooks the best food. Okay, she just makes the best food. She actually hires a chef for 2 or 3 days before the holidays. The fiesta, there's a chef comes in and prepares for 2 or 3 days. So the food here is excellent. But when I started, all the restaurants are now adding spices that make my feet blow up. So I can't eat the stuff anymore. So then I'm going to talk about, after we say good morning to a few more people, Robert Sweet, Jesus loves me. When you say Robert Sweet, when you say Jesus loves me, do you mean Jesus loves me? And or Jesus loves you. I'm not sure if Jesus loves me. I'm not quite sure about that, but you might have a point. I would have to check. Jesus. So, thank you for stopping by. YouTube, MSG is pure death. They are basically poisoning the people of the Philippines to reduce their life expectancy and increase the propensity for people to end up in the hospital with liver and kidney failure. So I pretty much stopped eating out. Now the pizza, the anchovy pizza pie that has sauce on it. Okay, I don't have a bag of sauce. The sauce that I bought in the store, Del Monte sauce, it comes in a 1 liter bag it's a three cheese sauce. I can't even eat 2 ounces of that sauce without my ankle swelling up 13 inches. My ankle swelling. It's so they swell up so much I can't bend my feet. The bridge of my foot swells up so much I can't pick my toes up. They changed that within the last year or so. They put something new in that. So the pizza that I had at Noah's Pizza in Alona Beach, I ate a half a pie, and I did not have. So they're cooking their sauce different. I need to get what kind of sauce they're using or how they're cooking the sauce. Maybe from canned tomatoes, but not Del Monte, or maybe Del Monte without the spice. I don't know, but it's to the point now where I can barely go out. We went to a buffet a few weeks ago. My feet swelled up before I was done. I finish eating? Yeah, I did, but I regretted it. I'll tell you what, because the wound on my foot expands and then cracks like this, like a balloon, like putting 5 lines on a balloon and blowing it up. It expands. Well, that's what happened to my feet, and it was literally blood all over everything. The food here is being poisoned, and then we're going to talk about the cultural change because of the new airport in Alona Beach. Okay? Uh, Scott Del Fuego, check out my liked video on ship breakers. Interesting how they do that. Okay? I will do that. Joe Blow, YouTube, I ate Chinese buffet in Orlando, Florida years ago. The food had so much MSG, I thought I was going to die. My aunt died from MSG, although the restaurant swears that it never happened before. My aunt ate a lot of a buffet at a Chinese restaurant in Queens, and she came home. She had a headache, and she laid down and she died. And she was perfectly healthy, but the MSG screwed her up, and she died from that. And she had an aneurysm when they did whatever they do, the autopsy, and they blamed it on high blood pressure, which she didn't have. So MSG is pure poison, and it seems they're putting it in everything in the Philippines. Every commercial restaurant, they're pushing it. I went not into the kitchen, but you could see there was a glass wall and to look into the kitchen, and they had it was a barrel about 12 inches in diameter and about 12 inches high, and it said accent on it. Well, by the way, that was the restaurant that I had the buffet in, and that's when my feet swelled up. So they're buying it by maybe 5 kilo barrels. And I've seen bigger barrels in New York in commercial establishments, but so they're basically putting accent or MSG in everything. Now, I ate at that buffet 2 years ago and that didn't happen. So this is something new. It's almost as if like a new product comes out. Like when the hula hoop came out, everybody had to have a hula hoop. Well, apparently the sales reps for foods are pushing spices. And does the food taste better? Absolutely. But I am sensitive to the food. So it's killing me. It's destroying my body's ability to heal. It has to be doing something to everybody, although it's not noticeable. And now I want to tell you about, I touched on this subject. You can leave messages about food if you have experiences here in the Philippines. But I want to talk about the cultural changes that are occurring. I went to Alona Beach. Today is Tuesday. I think it was Saturday night, December 8th here in the Philippines. That's December 8th. In the previous video, 3 weeks before, or 2 weeks before, there were several Korean and Japanese or Chinese restaurants opening up. In 3 weeks, another on one block that's about 900 feet long, on both sides of the street, in 3 weeks, 7 more restaurants, either Korean or Chinese or Japanese, opened up. Well, Filipinos closed shop, and 7 more Oriental of Chinese, Korean, or Japanese restaurants opened up, bringing the total to over 22, 23, something like that, Korean and Chinese restaurants that weren't there a year ago. And what I think is occurring is because of this new airport, the influx of Asian, Chinese, and Korean people has increased without the opening of the new airport. But it opened up last week, and I am now seeing vans that I never saw before come, and when we walk down the beach at night, the vans are letting the people off by 15 or 20 as a group of tourists, and they're being walked around, and they're all from Korea or Japan or China. I don't know. You know, to be honest with you, I have a small understanding of the different body sizes and shapes, but I don't know by looking at somebody if they are Korean or Chinese or half and half. I don't know that, but now they're bringing entire vans. Sometimes 2 and 3 vans are getting parking, and 12, 15 people come out of any one van, and there'll be 3 vans. There's 45 people going for a walk on a white sand beach. Now, I have to tell you this. I have never seen any one of them drop so much as a single gum wrapper or a bottle. They are not in any way polluting the Philippines. There is no, I never saw Orientals from Korea, China, or Japan drop any debris. In fact, most of them are probably divers, and they're very ecologically friendly. But what I noticed is from no vans being dropped off at certain areas to where 1 or 2 or 3 vans, you'll see a whole horde of them. And they just walk down the beach and they take their pictures. Like, you know, not to generalize, but they just take a lot of pictures. They don't go in the water. Now, I think most of them are divers, so they don't really care about the beach water. They get ready to dive. But the amount of people, I've lived in the same exact location a couple of kilometers from Alona Beach. I've never seen this before. Even they come down the block where I live in a van and drop them off because there's an alley that they can get to the beach to. I never saw this before. It's the new airport, and the airport's only open since the 27th, and today's the 9th. Okay, so it's only open 10 days, and already there are multiple caravans of Orientals just out of, and where are they staying? Say, well, they're building 12,000 rooms new in the Alona Beach area. 12,000 rooms have been, 4,000 are complete, and another 8,000 are in the process of being built. Since the year 2015, 12,000 rooms. So next year will have been built. And that's just one small part of the island of Bohol. So you don't understand how I look at it. I watched this happen to New York. Then when I moved to the Florida Keys, because New York just wasn't for me anymore, I moved into a community exactly like the one I live on my block. People lived in what we call conch houses with no windows, just screens. There's no locks on the door. The lot would be 75 by 100 foot deep. There'd be 5 or 6 people living in 3 or 4 rooms with water and electric, simple living. And they knock those houses down and build $1 million houses there. They're doing it here now. Rent on a property here was 15,000 pesos that I could have rented the property for 15,000 pesos a month, and I could have got a 20-year lease. And actually, if I had enough money, I would have liked to have done both properties. The property is renting for 75,000 pesos a month now, and nothing is different about the property. It's just the same house with 4 bedrooms in the house that was 15,000. Now it's 75,000 pesos a month because the person who rented it for 15,000 pesos a month is renting rooms at 1,200 pesos a day. So he's getting 5,000 pesos a day, 50,000 pesos every 10 days, 150,000 pesos every month. He's got a 75,000 peso per month profit. The people are immaculate clean. They don't make noise, and they're all Orientals. Okay, so rent went up 5 times. The property that I rented, people say, when are you gonna start building? I don't worry about that. I could sell the lease. I could ask for an investor that I would get in about, I don't know how long it would take. I've turned down offers for people to invest to build my hotel because I want to do it when I'm ready to do it. And my foot right now, not healed up, I can't do it. But that's not the point. The property value, I could sell it for millions and millions of pesos to lease, millions and millions of pesos, and I could go to another island and just build a house and relax. That's just not my style. Let me go back to saying hello to people. Like I said yesterday, if you're not, I'm not, it's nothing personal. I'm just not going to deal with every question on the board. If you're not, like, I hope Joe Mack is here. If Joe Mack is here, I owe you an apology because I didn't make you the same offer that I offered to Jim Disbrow, Disbrow. I should have offered you to send you the email with the 150 or so videos that are only available on my Patreon account, which are digressing back. If you're not a member of my Patreon membership, if you're not a Super Chat donator, unless I see some question that stands out to me, I'm just going to just not be able to do this. I don't have time for this. I have other things that I want to do today, and I can spend the whole day just reading questions and answering every single question. I don't want to do that. I have a guest here in that's we're preparing to have a nice fish dinner. Daisy went out and bought the food, so it's nothing personal, nothing personal at all. But I did get 4 new members for my Patreon account this month. Now I told you people yesterday. Well, let's digress a little bit. I spent this year on actual physical costs to keep this business going. It was $1,500 cash money I took out of my pocket. I'm actually making about last month, $86 from YouTube. So what is that? That's less than $1,000. So I took $500 out of my pocket to keep this business going. Now there's some money coming in from Patreon as well. But what about my time? When you add up my time, at the thousands of hours that I spend, I have in the course of a year, I have 600 hours. Let's just say. Well, that's another at 20 bucks an hour. That's $12,000 of my time I have invested into this endeavor. Okay, and people want me to. I field as many questions as I can, but it's not going to happen anymore. I get 5,000. I have 5,000 comments on my videos and super chats in the last 30-day period. 5,000. 3,500 are from my YouTube videos, where I have to review them so to make sure that somebody isn't saying something really nasty that I wouldn't like, or just something just completely off the chart wrong, where I have to delete those comments. I spend 20 hours a month, sometimes 30 hours a month, just reviewing those comments. People don't want to compensate me, but they want to ask questions. That's okay. Ask the question to the guy above you in the comments section or the guy below you in the comment section. If I'm not being compensated for my time, I don't feel it necessary to spend a lot of time answering your questions. I'll just say what I have to say, and I'll leave the live stream up, and you guys can chat with each other. But if I'm not being compensated for my time, what am I doing this for? I do enjoy it, but I'm not being compensated for my time. And why would I do that? Especially now, it's starting to get crazy, where people are asking me, do I grow anything here? What does that mean? Do I grow anything here? I don't know if it means, am I growing pot, or am I growing trees, or growing lemon trees? But that's not even not something I would normally address. I just give them a thumbs up. It's nothing personal, but you could ask me what color my shoes are. Let's stick to the topic at hand. Do I grow? I was talking about food stores and poisons that they put in here. Now, I guess it's a legitimate question from a food point of view. Push. It's open, honey. It's a legitimate, but no, I don't grow anything. I have one tomato plant. Okay. Hot, yeah? Not so? You get the calamansi fresh? Let me have one. What?
They're not so fresh.
Let me have one. So, Jim Disbrow. Thank you. Yeah, Jim Disbrow. I've been getting promises from people. Jim Disbrow, he abused everybody in less than 2 minutes. I understand that people don't have the money for Patreon. Jim Disbrow came on. We had this interchanging between, a mental. We did some mental gymnastics. We had a few laughs, and then I was saying this, that, and the other thing, and then Jim says, "Fuck you. Here's $10 towards your new computer," which I do need a new computer. So, and I laughed. What do I say now? So I thanked him, and now I said he took the wind out of my sails. And then he came on and he says, not for nothing, but I want you to time me how long it takes me to sign up for Patreon. Because people have been telling me they're going to get to it, they're going to get to it, they're going to get to it. This is going on 6 or 7 months. And there are reasons that they say it. They say it because I'm going to get to your Patreon account so they could ask me a question and get an answer. Okay, that used to work, but it doesn't work anymore. But so Jim says, time me. So I put the stopwatch on, and the reality of it is it was 10:50. It was 10:49 on the computer, and the email came in that Jim Disbrow had signed up and became a such and such member in less than 2 minutes. So he kind of screwed everybody's. I'm going to become a Patreon member and do this. Now, Patreon is 100% secure server. So I have 26 members of Patreon, including Jim. I had 32. Five dropped out. One never actually signed up. And they dropped out for whatever reason. They said that it's just going to be a temporary thing to help you out a little bit. That's fine. But now I need a computer, and I'm not kidding around about this. It's going to be, this computer's 7 years old. Now, if I have to take it out of my pocket, I will. But if you think I'm going to address every question on every video and spend 3,500 minutes, what does that come out to? If you divide 3,500 minutes by 60, that's 50 hours. 60 hours to read and answer the questions. I'm not spending 60 hours a month to answer questions. I'm not going to do it. Members of my Patreon, Super Chat members, even you give Super Chat, I remember you 2-3 months from now, I'm going to answer you, but I just don't have time. In fact, I want to end this live stream almost now because it's frustrating to know how many people out there are just willing to continually ask me questions and not give anything back in return. And am I crying? No, I'm not crying. But I'm telling you, I laid out $700 out of my pocket just for equipment this year to keep my videos going. Everybody loves my videos. And they don't even go to their channel and even get a thumbs up for. So don't mistake this that I don't have the $1,000 to buy the equipment. But why should I buy the equipment if I'm entertaining you? Maybe that's a piss poor attitude. That would go right along with me because I got a piss poor attitude. You see this calamansi? This is the kind of attitude. This is what they do to you in the Philippines. They tell you it's fresh. Is this calamansi fresh? Yes, sir. Talking about piss poor attitude, being just because I have a calamansi. It's a little lemon. Okay. Is this fresh? Yes, sir. So they'll have bags made up, half kilo and kilo bags, and the bags are blue. You see the yellow here? See, this is a little yellow. Blue bags and yellow coloring in the calamansi makes green. So when you look through the blue bag, these look green. Are they fresh? Nope. There's about 5 or 6 seeds that big inside that little calamansi. That's a bad attitude, lying to the people that you sell them to. Because when they're fresh, they don't have any seeds in them at all. Jim is abusing me. And he's allowed to abuse me. Jim has joined the club, and he's only kidding. But Jim is also, yeah, I'll read it. It took me a minute to be a Patreon yesterday, Patreon member. So break out that card and give the grumpy old bastard a buck or two. Thank you, Jim. As much as there's sarcasm in there, there's truth to it. I've been doing these live streams because my foot is injured. When I go back, when I go back to building, then all my building will be up on Patreon only. I will not put 1 minute of one construction project on YouTube. Again, if you want to see how I'm building or what I'm building or the way my construction technique is, you're going to pay for it. It's simple because now I don't have a captive audience. I just have something that I'm talking about. But I am telling you that this stuff is poison. So I saved you the trouble. If your ankles swell up and you get into an allergic reaction to this stuff, I'm saving you the cost of going to the doctor, or at least you know why. But if you're a member of my Patreon account, I just got the construction builder, the man who's building 350 units down the beach. I just got him. They wanted a minimum of 1,500 pesos per night for a hotel room, and I got him a hotel room for 1,500 pesos is just, let's just say it's $30. We'll round it out, and I got him a hotel room for $18 a night. So he saved $12 a night, and he's going to be here for a week. So he's going to save $100. That's just one place that I save people money. Some places I get them a 20% discount where they save $40 a day for 5 days. That's $200. If I can do that, if the rooms are available, Daisy calls up and asks, telling her family's coming. They get a different price than I do. So I do it through Daisy, or I just go down to a hotel and walk up and say, look, I got some friends coming in, we'll pay you cash. And they'll give me a cash discount because they know I'm a local. So that's an advantage to being a Patreon member. Other advantages, when Jim sends me his telephone number on Patreon, or if he did send it in an email like I requested, I'll call Jim up. If he wants to know about South Florida, if he wants to know about New York, if he wants to know about the Philippines, yeah, anywhere from Dumaguete to Bacolod City to Palawan to Coron to El Nido to the Underground River Tour, what times to take the Underground River Tour, where to go dolphin watching, which is the best of 3 locations to go whale shark diving, what time should you go in the water with the whale sharks, that makes the best for photography, and what makes the best time what time they feed, stuff like that. So that's the benefit of becoming a member of Patreon. And nobody's going to become a member of Patreon. It happens on a rare occasion. Jim just had to stick a tummy and become a member. Maybe he was thinking about it. Maybe something I said, well, you know what? The guy does provide some information. I mean, some information and certainly entertainment. And maybe Jim is coming to the Philippines, and maybe I can get him a hotel room. Now, I know I can save anybody 500 pesos, which is only $10. But I know I can save anybody $10 on any of the local hotel rooms, sometimes 20, which makes a difference, because when you're considering a hotel room is only $30, $10 is 30%. That's a big discount, 30% discount. So let me go. Dave Jr. All right, kind of like a third. Jim's a good man. Landhawk 59. Now that man there, I love that guy. I don't mean love him naturally, you know that. Landhawk 59 put out a video yesterday. I suggest, if you wish to know if you're a Philippines blogger, if you wish to know if it's legal or not, Landhawk 59 put out a blog that shows you the document stating from the immigration office stating it's okay to be an online blogger, and hit the document number so that you can Google it, and he put it also in the description box. So people have been telling me I'm going to jail. People have been telling me I'm going to be arrested. My passport is going to be taken away from me. I'm going to be blackballed from the Philippines because I have AdSense, and then I have, on top of that, I have a Patreon account. The Patreon account, let me tell you what you get for the Patreon account. I'll break it down for you. But digressing for one moment, if you want to know if it's legal to blog or work online in general in the Philippines, Landhawk Bill is the person to go watch his video. I didn't copy that document. I'm not going to copy Bill's video. He made a perfect video. He went to the immigration office. He asked the immigration officer. They gave him the link or the way to find the link for the paper. Then he posted the document online, and everything that you need to know about immigration coming into the Philippines in regards to, can you be a legitimate blogger in the Philippines? Everything is on Bill Landhawk's page. I think it's his latest update from yesterday. So thanks for that, Bill. Let's see. Nah. Okay, so Callie Sean, can you post your Patreon link, please? Okay, I can do that. Give me a moment. Well, if anybody wants to see the link itself on my homepage, if you've visited my homepage, what you can see is an eagle in the top right-hand corner of the screen. And underneath the eagle is the link for the book, and it's for my book Angels on the Ark, for my Google, and for my Facebook, and I have a Twitter account, but I've never tweeted anything. And then the right hand dot underneath the eagle to the right, all the way to the right, is an orange dot with an orange ball with a white dot in the ball. Okay? And you just click that link and it will bring you directly to the Patreon page. Trying to do three things here at once. So here is Michael Fazio Patreon link. Hold on. All right, Michael Fazio Patreon link below. And there's the link if anybody's interested. Nope, that's not the link. Hold on. That was something I had stored in that was something I had stored in my saved. Okay, so here is the link. It says Michael Fazio. I'll post it twice so it's easy to see. It says Michael Fazio Alert 2. Okay, so there's the link. So it's easy to find. I posted it 3 times. So Callie Shan, good morning, good evening. Now, Scott Del Fuego, Michael saved me $30 by explaining a shortcut to achieve a square cut on metal tubing without a chop band saw. I don't know how I did that. First I heard of it, but thank you. What did I? Michael saved me $30 by explaining a shortcut to achieve a square cut on metal tubing without a chop or band saw. One of our many conversations. So thank you for posting that. That's another thing. If you're a member of my Patreon account, just let's say you want to know how to build something and you want to know how to prepare the wood for gluing. They tell you to just take the dust off the wood, right? And I'm a very good carpenter, no joke. They tell you just blow the dust off the wood or wipe the dust off the wood with a paintbrush. No, that's not how you prepare wood to glue two surfaces together. How you prepare wood, you can blow off the dust and blow into the porous members of the wood, but then you take a hot rag, hot water, boiling hot water, and wash the wood down with the boiling hot water. It does 2 things. It breaks the oil off the wood, or wax. Some wood has wax, some has like an oil in it, and then it opens up the pores like a sponge. Then, before it's 100% dry, while it's still moist, then you brush the glue along with the grain on this piece of wood, and you already washed the other one with hot water, and on that piece of wood, and you hold them vertical like that for a minute or 2 or 3. And then you take the wood and you clamp it together, and you leave it clamped until it dries. That bond is now stronger than the wood itself. But when you just blow it off with a paintbrush and you put glue together on both sides, you still have the oil or the wax sheen on both pieces of wood. You still have pieces of dust. You don't have any porosity in the lumber. You don't have any, it's not, the wood isn't acting like a sponge, because with the hot water, it opens it up, looks like a sponge under a microscope. Without the hot water, it's just a flat surface with oil on it. How do you glue 2 pieces of something together with oil on it? Well, you don't. They stick for a little while, but it's not a bond. So I can tell you how to do carpentry. I could tell you how to do cutting metal. I could tell you what blades to buy to cut metal. I can do a lot of stuff on Patreon as a member of Patreon. Remember, I'm a licensed airframe and power plant jet mechanic, legally licensed by the Federal Aviation Administration. So if you want to know how to build something, or you want to know how to repair something, and you have some mechanical ability, I can explain all of that to you as well. It's not just the Philippines that I've lived in about, I guess I lived in Bacolod. Oh, when I say lived, I was there for 3 weeks, but I did more exploration in 3 weeks than other people that have lived there their whole life. Bacolod. Now, Bacolod, I would not live in. I just wouldn't live there. There's nothing there for me. But the country around Bacolod, you can own massive amounts of land and not see a neighbor for 5 minutes walking down the road. It's a beautiful country, but there's nothing for me in Bacolod because I like beaches, and Bacolod is where they keep the mountains. Now, there is a small area close to Bacolod with a beach, but I didn't get to that. It was raining so hard the days I went to Bacolod. It was a typhoon. So I got to visit the city. There's nothing in the city I would want to see in Bacolod. Okay, nothing. There's nothing. There's a square. It has a statue relegated to masonry. There's a couple of small malls. There's 1,000 shops with people trying to sell you stuff. There's a couple of churches with people outside asking for money with in very poorly dressed, poor people. And then you go inside, and then the church is asking you for money to for give me money. Give the people outside are like this, Polyho, give me pesos, and the church is like this. Yeah, on a Sunday, I happen to be there. So there's nothing there for me. A couple of nice old churches from the outside, but going inside those buildings themselves, actually, there's an energy about churches that I just totally goes against the grain of my being. So, but there's nothing else there. But you could buy vast amounts of land. And is it safe there? I think it is. But now you go down the other end of the island, you go to Dumaguete, and you want to know about Dumaguete. Mostly people that go there, most foreigners are alcoholics. Just to get right off the bat, let's clear it up. Most foreigners are alcoholics. Whether they want to admit it or whether you see the abuse, most of them are. And I'm telling you from experience, I am the only foreigner that I know that doesn't drink. And the man, Eric Lawson, the guy who's building the condominiums down the block, he doesn't drink. So we get along just fine. But most foreigners, and Peekaboo too, he doesn't drink. We got along just great. But they don't live here. But Eric does. Now he lives in Manila. But he doesn't drink. But most foreigners are alcoholics. You're going to come here. So I can tell you stuff like that. Where to go, where not to go. Dumaguete, I couldn't live in. If you gave me a house looking at what they call a beach in Dumaguete, which is just a bunch of dirty, filthy, slimy rocks, that's what they call a beach, in water that you can't see down past your knees in, typically, that's what they call a beach. I wouldn't live there. So if you want beaches, you can't live in Dumaguete. If you want young girls and you want to pay them money to do things, well, that's a sickness that you have to deal with within your own mind. But that's why a lot of people live in Dumaguete. I wouldn't live in Dumaguete if you gave me a house overlooking the ocean. I wouldn't live for free, electric and water. Because why? Because the degeneracy in Dumaguete is so high, I couldn't deal with the degeneracy itself. I tried to talk to people, and the next thing that you say after you say hello, they ask you, how many girls did you get this week? What? I didn't come here to girls. I live in the Philippines to go diving. Yeah. But what did you come to Dumaguete for? That's the kind of shit that you get from people that are drunk and have something wrong with their brain. Now, let's go down the road. Thank you, Jim. Jim posted the link also. Thank you. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Jim Disbrow. I made that link public. It didn't go. Michael, I made the link public because whenever you post a link or a telephone number or an email address, I can see it, but it says hidden. So thank you. Jim posted the link to my Patreon account. Michael Henderson, my Buntag back. Scott Del Fuego. Landhawk is a fellow Chicago guy, and he's a great guy. He's a very quiet, well-mannered human being that speaks the truth. Landhawk 59. He doesn't lie about. I've never caught him fabricating bullshit. That's why I like Bill. I actually do believe that Bill, if I remember correctly, related channels. Yeah, on my home page about a year ago, I put recommended channels, Landhawk 59 as one of the recommended channels on my home page. Uh, I forgot all about that. So he's been, I don't recommend people so easily, but Bill Landhawk 59 is a great channel. Very calm, even keeled guy like myself, congenial, wonderful personality, never says it, never curses, like myself, like that. So Warren H. Hello, Warren. Ah, man, Warren. Mr. Obama wants to say hello to you, Warren. Very happy you could attend today's dissertation. Hello. Landhawk Bill says he's no expert, just being modest. I think Bill has an inside track to the information of what's going on. So anyway, Bill said that in the video he was briefed by the managerial position of the immigration office, who, by the way, is not allowed to be on video or taped. So it's already, she's saying what it is. Bill is secondhand information, and Bill is suggesting you check it out for yourself. But I'm sure Bill has the link for the document so that you can't say, well, Bill said, because Bill, he said, she said. No, but Bill got the information right, I'm sure. Merry Christmas 2.0. Good morning. Wait, Donnie Porter, Mr. Jubaka, it was tough, but I made it through the day without leaving a comment on your video. Donnie likes to leave, I think, 9 comments yesterday. Good morning, Donnie. Good evening, Donnie. Nice to see you here today. And thank you for stopping by. You always have something positive to say. That's Donnie Porter. Always has something positive to say. Always. Every video he watches, he leaves a positive comment. And I'm sure a thumbs up. Thank you, Don. Merry Christmas 2.0. Tight Bond. Or you could just use Tight Bond. Merry Christmas 2.0. Okay, so what Tight Bond is, that I was talking about Elmer's glue or Elmer's 2-part resorcinol glue. If you went through a course of aviation and you were gluing something together, typically spruce, for the spars and frames and ribs of an aircraft, you would do what I said with the hot water, sometimes 2 times with the hot water. You might even break to open up the pores of the lumber. Both pieces open up the pores, put them together, clamp them together. So Merry Christmas. Now that bond between Elmer's 2-part resorcinol glue is forever. I have frames from my boat when we chopped up my boat after 17 years. I still have some gusset plates that are glued to the original mahogany. They never broke apart. They never cracked. That's a forever bond. Okay, 2-part resorcinol glue, mahogany to spruce, plywood, aircraft grade plywood, it's a forever bond. Now, Merry Christmas says, well, you could use Tight Bond without doing all the water stuff, because you can't put water on the surface and then Tight Bond it, because it's like mixing oil and water. Tight Bond will break the oil surface on the wood on both sides, put it together and bond it. It will work, but it's not. I haven't seen Tight Bond. My boat lasted 17 years, and it rotted because I wasn't around for a couple of years, and they left water in the hull, and they didn't put the water in the boat in the water, so the plywood got waterlogged and spongy. So they just cut the boat up. It was 17 years old, the boat, wooden plywood boat. But still worked, but I would have had to reskin the bottom, and I didn't want to do that. So it's just simpler to go out and buy a fiberglass boat. So Tight Bond will work, but I haven't seen it work in the water for 17 or 20 years. Maybe he's right. They do have other chemicals now that you can use that they build boats with. They build boats with chemicals, 2-part chemical epoxies here in the Philippines. They don't use glue. They don't use screws or nails. They just put the wood together like this, and they might put a clamp on it, and when they unclamp it, it's there forever. but their boats only last 10 years. So I don't know. So let's see. Now, that looks okay. So let me go by. So Merry Christmas. The Type 1 will break the chemical off the wood, the glue. The Type 1 has it's a gasoline, a petroleum-based product that'll break the wax off the wood. It will break the oil off the wood. If the oil and the wax becomes part of the glue, you just smash it a little bit, put it together and clamp it, and that works fine too. I don't know if it will last. I don't know if it's aircraft approved. I don't know if it's marine construction approved by the U.S. Coast Guard. They have rules about what you can use to put things together with. But for a temporary or for a house repair, I use Type 1 to glue sheetrock on top of wood paneling 30 years ago in my mother's house, and it's still there. So I guess it works. Completely disinterested. Anthony is a member of my Patreon account. Scott Del Fuego is a member of my Patreon account. Rudy Gallus is a member of my Patreon account. And there was a man that someone just donated a super chat. Let's hope. It looks like, I see the little picture. It looks like Tudor Roberts, who's a very, he makes some interesting videos. Let's see. I am right. It's Tudor Lloyd Roberts. Because all I could see was the small, now I will get to you in a minute. Tudor, thank you. Tudor makes some interesting videos too. Now, let me tell you something about Tudor before I go back to my thing. Tudor, I don't know. I look at Tudor, I see a young man, a handsome man, not a muscle-bound handsome man. But the funny thing about Tudor, I have never seen anybody on Facebook post a picture of himself in a collared shirt, get 175 likes, and then you look and they're all beautiful women. This guy has to be the Casanova of the Philippines. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I have never seen so many responses from beautiful women. There are other people that post on Facebook. They'll get 60, 70 thumbs up. But Tudor, it looks like a list of beauty queens from the Philippines that post on his channel. So, I mean, post on his Facebook account. Now, maybe there are rumors that I don't know this for sure, but maybe Tudor Lloyd Roberts, maybe he puts the DOD to shame. Maybe the DOD would be a primer for I don't know. Maybe Johnny Holmes is jealous of Tudor Lloyd Roberts. I don't know what it is. I never saw anybody have so many beautiful women. Oh, he puts a picture of himself standing there with a polo shirt or a T-shirt. What a beautiful picture. What a handsome man. Oh my God, you are such a, and I think it's the latter. I think Johnny Holmes would be jealous of Tudor Lloyd Roberts for one reason or another. I think Tudor Lloyd Roberts makes the DOD look like child's play. Not how could there be so many beautiful women after a man with a polo shirt on? If that was the case, then I would be what?
You would be the one who would wear too.
I would be the one with the polo shirt on too. Instead, I post something on Facebook. The only person that says hello is Daisy. But Tudor Lloyd Roberts, thank you. We'll do a super chat then, and it will be pizza again. And it won't be black coffee, though. Come on over here. Come on over here, honey. Tell them what happened. All right. Come on. Daisy and I had pizza, anchovy pizza, and it's brick oven pizza at Noah's Pizza, and that's where we're going to go to buy Tudor's pizza, Tudor Lloyd Roberts. We had pizza at Noah's Pizza in Alona Beach, and we bought a cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. And because Rudy Gallus made mention of this, I'm going to tell you. Typically, the garbage that they sell as coffee in the Philippines is a package of Macahilo sweetener, which is artificial sweetener, poison sweetener. Macahilo means poison. Macahilo crema, which is a mixture of some certain amount of chemicals that turns the coffee white, but it's all a mixture of chemicals, and dried coffee beans powdered, almost like instant. It's instant coffee. It's not almost like anything. So they charge 100 pesos for a cup of this garbage, and the packages that you buy in the store are 7 pesos. So basically, they're charging you 13 times the price of a cup of coffee to make hot water for you. And it's garbage. So next door they have Dunkin' Donuts that they make real bean coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, but it's really strong. And Daisy and I dipped our anchovy pizza in the coffee at 5 o'clock. And what time did you go to sleep? Yeah?
Midnight na? 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock? No, not 1 o'clock. Yeah, you lay down about 1 o'clock, right? And then she got right back up because she couldn't go to sleep. She couldn't sleep. And then what we do when we're tired is we have a shot of rum. And I had not been ready to go to sleep because I knew I would be awake until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I stayed awake. So I had a shot of rum about 2 o'clock. Daisy had been sleeping for about an hour. And I laid down. And all of a sudden, Daisy started going, "Ooh." And I'm going, "Oh, shit." I jump up. I grab her arms. I try to get her up. I know it's coming because she had multiple shots of rum because the coffee kept her awake all night. And then that's all. That's enough for now. That's enough. We won't talk about the fact that it went all over the window and the screen and the curtain, the bed, the sheets, her pillow, her hair, and her hip, on her feet, on her arm. And when I grabbed her, she said, "Let me go." And I let her go because I thought she was awake. And she laid back down in the spooge. She laid back down. She goes, "I'm going to go to sleep now." And I'm going, "No, you're not. We have some work to do." So we're not going to have the black coffee with the pizza to do. Unless we go there in the morning. We could do that, yeah? We could go and have lunch, an early lunch at Alona Beach. We'll take a nice walk to the beach and we can do that. Thank you, Tadar. We'll let you know how that works out. Daisy